What's the date? Oh, today's 9th. So welcome to our January 9th call for our Fit Family Network. We are going to do another kind of informal call tonight. And I wanted to talk to you about a subject that's just kind of on my heart right now, and it's not going to take a long time. But then I also kind of wanted to open it up to kind of get some feedback from you guys on just kind of a direction or some things that maybe you guys feel that we need as a team going forward, like as far as training or team events or just things like that maybe you guys see a void in, or you personally feel that you need either for yourself or for your downline. So, and I also just wanted to kind of ask a little bit about some feedback about our weekly team calls as well, as far as format stuff goes. So just know that when we get to that part, I am going to request feedback. So already put it yourself in your mind that someone's going to have to speak up because I'm not going to move on from it. Okay. So what I wanted to talk a little bit about tonight, which I posted in the group, is about bitterness and resentment. And you might think, like, what in the world does that have to do with Beachbody or this business or coaching or fitness or weight loss? And it was actually like a topic that Mike and I were talking about tonight, about just how when you are bitter about something or, is this what we're doing? Yeah. Or like if you have resentment about something, sometimes you will kind of like bottle up those feelings, or maybe not bottle, maybe you're open about those feelings, but either way, you carry those feelings, and that kind of goes into how you treat your challengers and your coaches moving forward. And I know for me personally, like since I've been a coach now for 5.5, almost 6 years, there's lots of times where I have maybe developed some of those feelings towards a coach or a challenge group. You know how, like, I don't know if I'm making sense, but like, you know how if you have a challenge group and you are so excited, like it was a new theme that you came up with, and it could be like a free group or a paid group or whatever, but you came up with this theme and you put all this work into building the content for it, and you advertised for it, and you posted about it all this time, and you talked to 100 people, and you got 5 people in the group. You had like all these expectations for everything that this group was going to be, and then it kind of bombs, like it kind of just like doesn't work out. And so those 5 people, whether you know it or not, you probably hold a little bit of like disappointment in those people, because you're like, what the heck? Like, I put all that work into building this content. I put all that work into figuring out how I can help these people, and they told me that their issues are that they have trouble with, maybe your group is like a water challenge. Let's just make it easy. It's like, they told me that they had all these problems with how am I going to drink more water? How am I going to drink water instead of soda? How am I going to find more ways when I don't like drinking water? And you do like all this work to find ways to help that person, and they don't accept your help and they don't make the changes. I think it's really natural for you to feel a little annoyed or disgruntled or frustrated that you did the work and they didn't. Like, you showed up and gave your end of the bargain and they didn't. And hold on. And so when that happens, when you do your next group, I can pretty much guarantee you that you don't give your 100%, because you remember what happened last time. You remember that you gave 150% of yourself. You took time away from your family to put time into building this group. You sacrificed time to do other things so that you could build this group, and those people let you down. So when you go to do the group again, you're going to hold back a little bit, because you're going to be like, well, I don't want to give all of that again and be disappointed. So before we move on, like, has anybody ever felt that way? Like, do you guys totally get what I'm talking about?
It's good time for a simpler answer.
Definitely.
That's probably your answer.
Okay. So, and I want you guys to know that that's normal, and that's going to happen both like in challenge group situations and probably even more in like Coach Basics type trainings as well. Like probably more so with like the coaching, like the business aspect of it, because when it comes to the business aspect, well, for me anyways, I guess it could vary based on kind of like where your passion lies. But on the coach aspect, like you start to kind of have a vision for what's possible for that coach. Like when you have a new coach that signs up with you that says they want to do the business, and especially like if you start breaking your own rules or your own time or your own way of doing things because you have this one coach that signs up that wants to be a business builder and become all these things in a short amount of time, and you start breaking all your normal routines to meet that person's desire, and then it doesn't work out like you thought, then you're going to have a little bitterness or resentment about it. Or, like if you develop, and I know Alicia and I have worked on some joint trainings, Sarah and I have worked on trainings together, where like we put a lot of stuff into it and it doesn't pay out. And then so when you do the next one, you're like, well, I remember what happened last time when I did this Coach Basics, and I got up every morning at 5 a.m. to make sure that my post was there. And you think about all the things that you did, but then it's not fair for that next group because you're prejudging what's going to happen with that next group. Like you are prejudging that they're going to behave like the previous group, and like they're going to disappoint you or let you down like the previous group did. So you're kind of like giving them a disservice by prejudging what the outcome is going to be. And it's not intentional by any means. I mean, we all want to give every coach, every customer, every client the same opportunity or the same opportunity to succeed, whether in a health or fitness aspect or a business aspect or a personal development aspect, whatever it is that you are trying to offer of yourself. You want that same opportunity for everybody that you reach out to, and that everybody that reaches out to you that wants your help. But I guess one of the things that I've been learning is that we need to learn to release that and to let go of that. Well, first of all, acknowledge that you have it. And second of all, to like let go of that and know that it's not your fault. And I'm assuming that the whole like attract likes thing is true. And so I'm assuming that a lot of you have similar feelings to me, where you personally carry the weight of people not performing, or people not getting the results, or people not succeeding. And like when you have somebody that says, I want to lose 20 pounds, I have this cruise coming up in a couple months, and you give them the formula. You say, buy 21-day fix, do this meal plan, use these containers, drink your shake, check into the group. That's the recipe, right? Like we all know exactly what to do, what to tell them to do, and then they don't follow it. They go off into the never to be heard from again island. And then it's like they failed themselves. Like they are the ones that decided this is too hard. I'm not going to show up. I'm going to ignore Robin's text message to me because I feel guilty for not doing my workout. So I'm not going to reply to Robin today. Like they're the ones that made that decision. But, and I saw you stick your tongue out at me, but ultimately it's their fault, but you take that on yourself. Like, I could have been a better coach. Maybe they don't like text messages. Maybe I should have sent them a video message. Maybe I should have snapped them. Maybe, maybe they would have been more successful if I was using the challenge tracker app instead of doing the Facebook group. Like there's all these different things that, like all these different scenarios that we think, well, they would have been successful if. But the reality is you gave them the formula to succeed, whether it's like a fitness thing or a business Coach Basics type thing. Like, even if they didn't have you as their coach, Beachbody gave them the formula to succeed. Even like, there's so many people that I know who have gotten great results using a Beachbody program that didn't personally have a coach, like didn't have somebody checking in with them every day. A lot of you guys actually have great success stories from before Beachbody ever came into your life. You know, like I know Sarah Manaresi, she had a great weight loss success story before having a coach that was like holding her accountable. Phyllis, the same way. She did P90X3 without having somebody that was checking in or asking her to use a challenge tracker app or anything like that. So it's totally possible to get great fitness results without having a coach. Does having a coach make it easier? Yes. Does it make it more enjoyable? Yes. We all know of lots of coaches that have no upline support or no upline sponsor, yet they're still very successful in this business. Lindsay Matway is a great example of that, where she has no upline and she kind of had to figure out the business herself. So us holding the weight of somebody else's success or failure is doing yourself a disjustice, because you're adding extra weight and stress to this business. And it's doing the future people that you are talking to a disservice, because every time that you add more weight of of other people's failures onto yourself, the more that you do that, the less that you have to give to others going forward. And that's just something that I am learning and trying to grow through right now. And it's something like that I have gone through in different ways of this business, like throughout my time. So does anybody have any thoughts on that? Like, have you experienced that? Do you struggle with that? Does that make sense? Do you think I'm crazy? Like, anything there?
I think I understand it. I think it's probably natural for what we do, because what we do is so personal, and I think all of us have this desire to help other people. And so we're invested in them. Some of I have like my cuckoo lady, I call her, and I get really, I get really upset when she, when I know she's not doing it or giving it her all, because I seem to care more than she does. And I have to keep telling myself, I cannot want this more than she wants it, Mm-hmm. So, and it's frustrating. Lord knows I've done enough challenge groups where I've had crickets. So, and I put pretty good content. It's not, maybe the best thing ever, but it's not just like, hey, got to work out today. Like, I try to, vary the content. It's not the same stuff every time. And you're right. You put a lot of time and effort into it to get people, maybe get a couple of likes, but no one talks, so that's frustrating. And, I don't know if I can call it bitterness, but it's just like this frustrating annoyance, but it doesn't stop me from doing it every month. Mm-hmm. But it's hard to be emotionally invested in someone else, and they just don't seem to care as much.
Yeah. Yeah, I know I've been there so many times where, like, if you want it more than they do, it's just, it doesn't do anything. They have to want it themselves.
Or I hear a lot, oh, but it's easy for you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's such a cop-out. We all know that, but,
yeah.
You can't, like, sometimes you just want to say, like, oh, give me a break. But, try to be a little more understanding than that.
Mm-hmm. So does anybody have any, like, ideas that they'd like to share about, like, how to deal with that? Like, how to let go of that and not take other people's failure on yourself?
I think if you just go through the quote-unquote mourning process, like, be upset about it for, like, an hour or so and get it out of your system, and then just not move on, but just know that it's just part of the process process and take and learn from it and move on, or build a bridge and get over it kind of thing. Just, or talk to somebody about who's not them, about your frustration, just to get it off your chest and just to really talk through it, and then, move on kind of thing.
So do we have anybody on the call that is like good at tough love, that maybe is like uses tough love to reach their clients to say like, hey, you said you wanted this, but I see you at McDonald's for lunch break. What's up? I'm not good at that. Like, do we have anybody on our call that's good at that? Michael is, yes. Not so much. Oh, okay, Marcy.
I think I'm good with that. Not so much with my challengers, but with my coworkers. Because they all, I don't know why, they're all like, oh, we can't eat this. Marcy's here today. Or, like I think I'm better. Maybe it's because I'm seeing them in person. Maybe I'm better at holding them accountable and like giving tough love because I see them all the time. But I think I have a hard time. I know that's not really what you ask. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I like it.
I think I have an easier time when I'm seeing the person face to face than when I'm just, because it's easy with social media to hide what you don't want others to see.
Yeah, totally.
So, I don't know.
Nina posted in the chat, she says that she's good at tough love. Sometimes I need to run it by my husband or accountability partner to make sure it isn't too harsh. That's so interesting. Like, I can't think of any time I've ever sent a message to like a success partner or anything like that that said, hey, do you think this is too harsh?
I'd love to know what Nina says.
Yeah.
Maybe I could learn something.
Where are you? She's not on video.
Okay.
She said, hang on. So she'll send us an example, I guess.
Jen, you've run a few things by me in the past, like offhand. So you do it. You just don't it's just not a habit for you to be tough love.
Yeah. I guess there's a couple circumstances where I have, but for them, like, I definitely would not use that as a trait of mine. Oh, Nina's gone now.
Okay. So I'm outside now. I'm sorry. I'm at basketball practice for my daughters, so all you hear are basketball stunts. So I don't sugarcoat things. And I was my coach, but also an accountability partner. And we are having our vital behaviors. And we like every coach that goes into the group. Like, I had to have a child to she could see that the people, and Michelle's more of the like her out. She's more the, oh, look at everybody's showing. And I was like, right, but we're doing saying you invites to your challenge group. So I kind of go in and I say, but they don't.
I don't know if it's just on my end, but it's on everyone's. Okay, Nina, we can't really hear you. It's way too in and out for us to like piece everything together. I think we lost her now. Well, maybe she can like post separately in the group later. Okay. So anyways, that was
Sorry.
Oh, there you are. Yeah, your connection must be bad. Like it's going in and out really bad. Like we can't.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's almost impossible for me to do this at basketball practice. But no, I just don't sugarcoat. I just say it how it is. And some people respect it, and some people are just kind of taken back by it. But
Yeah. That's a good way to be, though, to just, so usually people don't get offended.
No, because I think it's that, like, even with my invites and my initial conversations with people, like, I never try to sugarcoat things. And I'm just very, like, plain and simple. This is how it is. This is what you can expect from me. So I don't think, like, I'm not a cheerleader necessarily. And I'm not going to, like, I hold their hand and everything, but I'm very realistic with it too. So I don't think they ever have these expectations that I'm going to be this big cheerleader. So they don't get offended when I'm not, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. I like that. So it kind of goes into what the expectation is that you set from the beginning. And that's something that Arnold, my corporate sponsor, has tried to like get into my head, beat into my head for years about like how you kind of set that expectation from the beginning, whether it's a challenge group or a business builder, of kind of setting the expectation of this is what I expect. This is the relationship that we're going to have. I'm your mentor, or I am your coach, or I am your cheerleader, or whatever role that you want to play with that person. And I think that's probably, I know for me, that's one area I need to improve on, is kind of setting that expectation. So anyways, before we move on to just some forward planning type stuff, does anybody else have anything that they want to ask or share about this topic? Okay. All right. So, so moving on then, I wanted to kind of get some feedback from you guys about our calls. First of all, like kind of about the day and time. Like I know like almost now for 6 years, Monday at 9 p.m. has always been team call time. Like even before I had my own call, when I was just, a newbie coach on the Bombshell Dynasty call, it was Mondays at 9 p.m. And so that's just kind of what I have continued on. And I am just kind of wanting to get some feedback from you guys on if this is a good time. Do you like having the calls at night? Would you prefer an afternoon call? Like what, is this Monday? Is that the best day? Like just, I'm not saying I'm looking to make changes, but I'm just looking to find out. And if you could, maybe I'll make a post in the team page, so that way, like maybe people that aren't on the call right this second, can kind of give their feedback on that too. But I'm just kind of curious, moving forward. And then the second thing I wanted to ask, was as far as the format of our calls, we've kind of transitioned into some different things. Like, back in the day, we were on Instant Presenter, and then we moved to Zoom, where we kind of allows a little more interaction. And then we've also done like slideshows where it's very like structured as far as here's our recognition and here's this and this and these announcements and everything, and then into the call. And then lately we've been kind of doing more just go with the flow. Let's chat. Let's, hear from each other. And I'm just kind of curious on which format that you guys prefer. Like, do you like a more, here's some information for you to digest, or do you prefer this kind of less structured, more chatty type call? And feel free to answer now on this one.
I like a mixture of the chatty, like informal, and then the structured. I don't think it needs to be the same, in my opinion. It doesn't need to be the same every week. There are some nights where you might want to talk about something specific, so you have a structured call. Mm-hmm. And then other nights, like maybe tonight, where it's just conversational.
Yeah.
I agree completely with that. I like a little of both.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I personally like nighttime because I work during the day, and it's very hard for me to join during the day.
Yeah. And there's definitely a difference from like being on the call live versus watching.
Exactly. And you feel right. Like I couldn't talk and share. Mm-hmm. Plus, I like to have my coffee with you ladies at night. So, and I like Monday because Monday seems to be a slower night. I feel like during the week, like once you get going, there's always something, like the kids have activities and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my personal opinion.
Okay.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I've really been liking the like chatting conversation. I do like the structured ones. Sorry. But I don't know, the last couple weeks of just kind of talking has kind of, I don't know, made me feel like the things I'm struggling with and the things that I'm going through, I'm feeling more, I felt like it was me that was the reason why I was struggling with those things, and having the conversation and everything is making me feel that, hey, it's not me. Everybody goes through these things. And I don't know, it's just been kind of a sigh of relief for me to be able to realize that maybe I'm not doing something wrong. Maybe it's just situational and that just happens. So, oh my gosh, sorry.
Okay.
Stop.
Thank you.
Oh,
What do you want?
okay, cool. All right. And so then the last thing, because we only have like 5 more minutes left, is like, what do you guys feel like you need going forward from this? Like, you know, you guys have been like, well, I want to thank you guys, you know, for your support and commenting and stuff on my video from yesterday. And like several of you mentioned that this is a family, and, you know, that you guys are, you know, happy to be able to come and support me and lift me up in my dark time, because I've been there for you guys, and like, and that's what a family does. And so like, as a family moving forward, like, what do you guys need? Like, do you need help with fitness accountability? Do you need help running Coach Basics? Do you need help doing like opportunity type stuff? Like, what do you feel right now like you need in order to help you make your goals for 2017? Coach invites. So Sophie, when you say coach invites, do you mean like you need help with how to do that, or you need something to invite people to, or like, what do you mean?
Okay, I don't know if, I'm sure people get this as well, but I get nervous. Like, as soon as I start wanting to ask people the coaching part, I start talking about other stuff. Like, so how was your day? You know, like, I can't initiate that because I've tried so many times, and I truly feel like I'm bothering people, like they're not going to want to talk to me anymore, and I'm going to lose my messaging, you know, like priorities or my messaging privileges with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Hi.
I'm trying to mute it. Oh, here it is.
Okay, yeah, that's good feedback. Okay, and then Andrea says Coach Basics, getting started on the right track. Okay. What else?
One thing that I think would be helpful is I have a lot of the same people in challenge groups from month to month, and so I'm always just looking for new ideas for challenge groups, just to mix it up a little bit, because I feel like I'm giving or offering the same content to the same people over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm adding to it, but I'm still having the same people from month to month join me. So just some new ideas for challenge groups for me.
Okay. I know we have a lot of creative people on the team, so.
Yeah, and that's not me. I am so not.
I am with you on that one. Robin, you are creative.
Yeah. Robin, what do you feel like you need right now? What does Dynasty Diamonds need?
Diamond Dynasties. I would say probably getting coaches started right, kind of getting a mentorship program, like, you know, something set up to where it's duplicatable for them. Because right now, and also with leads, like, I'm not having any leads contact me back. So that's been a struggle. So I don't know if I need, obviously I need to tweak what I'm doing, because
yeah.
And then, just getting new coaches started.
Okay.
Like basically a call to action to what are some call to actions I can do for them, so I'm not babysitting them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Ain't nobody got time for that. Okay, who else can I call on? Stella. We haven't heard from Stella in a long time. So Stella, what do you feel like you need right now?
Honestly, Jen, watching your video yesterday and, like watching Jenny go live this morning, Beauregard, and all the authenticity and all that, I really feel like that's what I need right now. I'm kind of in a struggling place with a lot of personal stuff going on behind the scenes, not even stuff that I can go on social media about with my aging parents and my sister, and it's been really overwhelming. So I think right now I just need authenticity and a reminder that it's okay to be human and to slip, and I'm obviously still holding on to the steering wheel on this and continuing to look for ideas and inspiration and all that. So just the reminder that we're human beings and we struggle, and and continue to learn. I learn by your example, and so when I see you being authentic, I pick it up and I keep the thread going. And so honestly, that's where I am right now. But if I were to say, I would go right along with everybody else, just asking for ideas for creative challenge groups and getting back into coach basics and just kind of the basics of the business. But.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. And that's important. And, something that I think we all could probably do a little bit more within the team page as well. Like, it doesn't always have to be like a live thing on your personal page,
right.
Sharing your issues. So, all right. Well, we're down to less than a minute. So, anyways, I think that this call was really helpful for me to kind of get an idea of where we need to go as a team and as a family going forward. If you have any other ideas or anything else that comes to you and you want to reach out to me or post in the group, that would be welcomed and appreciated as well. If you think of something later after this call. But thank you guys for getting on tonight and hanging out with me for these